Hi bookish friends and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to rapid fire, rank, and share my favorite characters from every single book that I've read so far this year. I know you're probably looking at the title and thinking, Tasha, it's already well past the mid-year mark. I know, but I haven't read much this summer. I actually think I haven't finished a single book between June and August. So I thought it would be only fair to make a mid-year check, even though it's already September. So whether or not you're looking for your next read, or you just like to hear people's opinions on books that you've already read and loved, this video is definitely for you. Sit down with your favorite drink of choice, grab a snack, and let's get into it. I'm going to rapid fire it as much as possible. If there's any books in here that you would like me to review fully, do let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to oblige. First book I read this year, Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Did not like it, did not hit the mark for me. I originally gave it 3 stars, then lowered it down to 2 stars as I started reading more. Plot fell flat, which I never thought you could make Greek mythology boring for me. The characters were not appealing in any way, not a single one of them could I root for. I think it's overhyped and I don't get it. However, I do have Cersei on my TBR. I am scared, but everyone seems to love that book, so I might give this author a second chance. 2 star though. Next book I've read this year is book 2 in the Raven Boys series, and that is The Dream Thieves. Give it 5 star. Loved that we were following someone other than Blue, and that is Ronan. Ronan is my favorite character, so I'm probably a little bit biased. Was super freaking funny, incredibly relatable, down to earth, lots of aggression in this one. It's Ronan, if you know, you know. Also, whatever happened between Ronan and Kavinsky, or rather what didn't happen between Ronan and Kavinsky, got me hooked. There was a lot of tension, if you know what I mean. Loved it. 5 star. Next is a complete trilogy. This is Dark Artifices by Cassandra Clare. The events in these books take place after the main series of Mortal Instruments, so you definitely want to read that one before you jump into this. However, I am glad that I've read 2 books of the prequel, The Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Prince, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure those are the first 2. So I've read them, and I'm glad I did because characters from those books are intertwined with this story, let's just say, and I absolutely loved finding connections between the prequel, the main series, and this one and marking them in my books. I mean, clearly. So rating them from book 1. 4 stars, solid story, very interesting plot twist. Nothing spectacular, but a very enjoyable story. Book 2, 4 star because it explored my favorite ship more, being Mark and Kieran. Loved spending more time in Fairy and seeing those worlds more than we have before, I think. However, the ending made me feel neither here nor there. It felt like we were missing a whole ending. I know this is supposed to be a cliffhanger to make you jump into the next book, but I'm sorry, we were building up for almost 700 pages to one single cliffhanger, and there's just no resolution of any kind. 4 star, for the sake of the series, you have to read it, otherwise I would say it's neither here nor there. Queen of Air and Darkness, 4 star as well, but the solid 100 to 200 pages in the beginning could be the ending to the previous book. What this book gave me, first of all, is closure to the main series. For those of you who've read Mortal Instruments, have you ever wondered how the world of Shadowhunters would have looked if Sebastian actually won the war? If our heroes failed and he took over? This book explores that possibility. It explores that alternative universe. And if you were to ask me what this book is about, this is immediately the part that comes to my mind. It will forever stick with me. I cannot believe it was only over 100 pages long. I felt like it was its own separate book. I was so invested into it. It was so rich. It was so well written. It was definitely giving a lot of Mad Max dystopia, very dark themes in there. Another thing that this book gave us is closure for a lot of the characters from the main series, namely Alec and Magnus. If you love Alec and Magnus, you should read this series just for this book, honestly, and to see what happens at the end of it with them. Jason Clary, again, so very wholesome. Loved the way their story tied into this, and the little chapter that they got again gave me closure on them as well. Left me with a lot of questions for the next series too. I love Tiberius and Kit together. The whole Kit story as well, I found him very interesting. 4 star. The the third book in the Raven Boys series. It was wholesome, it was cute. This book has the slowest slow burn you'll ever have, and if you know me, I'm a sucker for those. I love me a painful slow burn, and not just slow burn where at the beginning of the book they're like looking at each other and at the end of the book they're kissed. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about multiple books slow burn. From the first book to the third one, we only got as much as holding hands, going on a night drive together, and I was screaming. I was kicking my feet and throwing this book around because it got me crazy. I was acting like an insane person. I gave it 4 stars just because plot-wise I did not feel like it was giving me that wow effect. The novelty of getting back into reading has worn off at that point, so I was a bit more strict with my rating. Super cozy, easy to read fantasy, solid 4 stars. And next we have books that are my ultimate 2024 5-star reads. I don't think anything can beat this series this year. I mean, I'll be surprised if anything does. This is the new standard that I base all of my 5 stars on, and that is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I haven't read anything like this. It gave me insane trust issues. As a person who guesses the plot all the time, this kept me guessing and guessing and guessing, and I still didn't guess anything. I was still wrong about everything. Do you know how many plot twists this book has? It's insane. I highly recommend everyone to read this. Julian is just ultimate book boyfriend. However, I have a confession to make. He was not my favorite. My favorite was Dante. Dante only had like 2.5 moments in this book. I'm exaggerating. He just took the spotlight. Dark hair, tattoos, and he's mean. Sign me up, you know what I mean? This book is 5-star. The plot was insane. I had proper mental breakdowns reading this book. It was crazy. Since I love Dante so much, this was the book for me. I was a little bit nervous going into Legendary thinking that Hella is not a reliable narrator, because seeing her in Caraval, I was like, I don't really vibe with her. Boy, was I wrong. She is my favorite between Scarlett and her. She is actually my favorite FMC, and I love reading her story. This book was 5-star, but it didn't start that way. The whole time I'm reading this, I'm thinking it's gonna be 4 stars because unfortunately I googled fan art. Never do that with Caraval, never Google any fan art. And I spoiled myself a big reveal in this book. And I thought that this book just will not hit me as hard as it should have because I already know the reveal, unfortunately. Chapter 39 ultimately is the chapter that changed my opinion on this book. Incredible. 5-star of a book overall. Next we have These Beauties, Fable and Namesake by Adrienne Young. I was a bit disappointed with them. Both of them are 3 stars for me. Fable was a good in-between book. When you're reading a lot of plot-heavy books like Caraval or Throne of Glass, you do need a break sometimes, and I think this book is perfect for that. The plot is very straightforward, super predictable. You know exactly where this is going. She is quite likable. There is a lot of pirate terms that has to do with diving and collecting gems. I was buddy reading it with my friend, and we both were on a video call like, what? We had to Google some of the terms because this book wastes no time and it just pushes you straight into all of these terms without any explanation. And I haven't read any pirate books before, so it was quite a bit confusing. I wish there were some glossary or something at the beginning or end of it. I felt like this was a raw draft of a book almost. 3-star, but it was a good read. It was a welcome break. It was still an interesting story. Do I recommend this book? Maybe. Don't expect too much from it. Use it as a book to get you back into reading or a book to read in between heavy series. That being said, Namesake is definitely where a huge improvement happens. The writing style gets richer. The descriptions are so much more profound. All the characters feel so complete. I felt like Adrienne Young really took time to think about this world and these people and wrote them like she knew them. Again, the plot was quite a bit predictable to me, except for one part. There was a plot twist. She finally delivered on making me surprised, and like I always say, it is a hard thing to catch me off guard with the plot. I love that she managed to do that. The ending felt very complete. There was no questions that I still had in my mind. Very wholesome. I loved it. Still 3-star because I don't think it was anything spectacular, but I enjoyed this book more than Fable for sure. And finally, we are reaching the beloved Throne of Glass series, Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass itself. I did read Assassin's Blade first, but this series is so heavily spoiled for me. I know pretty much every major event that happens, including what happens in this book. Did I still cry? Yes. Do I still cry every day about a certain someone? Because social media just will not give him a break. Yeah. 4 stars. Loved it. Very much enjoyed getting to know Selena and getting to know the world that all of the events are happening in. I felt like if I read this third, it just wouldn't have interested me as much. I think I would have given it 3 stars otherwise, but because I read it first, I rated it 4 stars. Throne of Glass. Oh, I enjoyed it so much. I didn't feel like anything extraordinary happened in it to give me that 5-star factor, but I felt like there was always something going on plot-wise, and if not plot-wise, there was something going on relationship-wise between the characters. There was so much mystery, it's so magical, I loved it. The difference in dynamic of Selena and Dorian and Selena and Kao, I adored it because they're completely different and it was so funny to see. I know it's very popular, on BookTok at the very least, I will not speak for BookTube, to hate on Kao, even in this book. I haven't gotten further into the series yet, and I'm sure there's some choices that he makes that might be not favorable by people, but in this book, there's no reason to hate on him. He was doing his job. They supposed to be wary of each other. They're supposed to hate each other. That's his job, to protect the kingdom. But Dorian is so laid back. Dorian does not care about his safety whatsoever, evidently. But he is just so funny. He's so chill. He's so laid back. Absolutely love the banter between Dorian and Selena. I will say, while the ending felt satisfying, the ending in terms of relationship, if we're talking Dorian, Selena, Kao dynamic, came out of the blue. That felt like, whoa, that took me aback a little bit. That choice did not really make much sense to me. But overall, 4-star, definitely recommend, very interesting. If you enjoyed diving into these captivating stories and books with me, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss any of these page turners. Let me know in the comments how many books you have read this year and share one book recommendation that you would like me to read. Until then, keep reading and stay curious.